know what I'm on. You know what I'm on. Yeah.
Lawrence, step, lofts it.
Yes, sir. Hey, third down. This gonna be that type of game. Y'all better get right. I like that. I like that.
What is going on, Skull Nation? We are back with another film session, and this one's on Cam Robinson. We have to come in here and break him down. He was just traded to the Minnesota Vikings, and I believe with his skill set, he can go out there and make a difference. Now, with this type of player, he has had a lot of dominating reps throughout the first part of the season, but it's good to come in here to see what this guy has done. Playing with the Jacksonville Jaguars for all of those years, he is one of the players that has gotten a lot of snaps, so we know that he's one of the guys that's battle tested. But when you have a situation with Christian Darrisaw being injured, you have to go out there and go get players. The better teams continue to be hungry, especially when you have a team like the Minnesota Vikings with a very good record. So you don't want it to be the end all be all when it comes down to that left tackle position. You got to make sure that that spot is solidified. So let's take a look to see what this player has done so far this season. So in this play here, we see excellent footwork from Cam Robinson, a crucial skill for a left tackle in the NFL. And pass protection is one of his best attributes in my opinion. He makes it challenging for top tier defenders to reach the quarterback. With Robinson's skill set, I'm confident he'll be a reliable player who can keep Sam Darnold protected in the pocket. And this is the type of energy that you need from your left tackle. So activating the system. So zooming in on this play here, you see that he's getting off the ball. You love the footwork when it comes down to a guy like Cam Robinson. Can you be a player that can be a dancing bear and attack these defenders? And the thing is, when you're going up against a guy like Will Allen, we know that he's one of the most premier pass rushers in the league. So you got to have players that can be able to use good footwork. You got to be athletic. On top of that, you have to be patient. And sometimes when you can be able to have a proper kick slide, you can be able to ride these guys outside of the pocket, and Trevor Lawrence stepping up and hitting his target. And with a guy like Sam Darnold, if you can be able to buy this guy time, he has a plethora of weapons out there. And with Cam Robinson's skill set, he's one of the players that you can count on as far as pass protection. But there will be times when you're going to be going up against these defensive ends. These guys are running 4-3s and 4-4s. Sometimes they're in that wide 9 stance. They're trying to bull and speed rush these offensive tackles. So getting down to your technique is everything when it comes down to that position. So being a player that can have a solid kick slide, as well as being able to get their hands on these defensive ends, is what you want to see when it comes down to Cam Robinson. One thing I look for in the offensive tackle is their ability to time their lunges effectively against their opponents. You often see tackles in this league lunging too quickly, giving defenders leverage to evade them and close in on the quarterback. However, Cam Robinson is one of the more patient tackles that I've seen on film. He has the ability to deliver a well-timed strike that knocks the opposing players off balance. This is exactly what you want from a starting left tackle in the NFL. So we're going to split it. So running this play here, you see that they're getting off the ball, and he strikes this defensive end. And the thing is, with a lot of these left tackles and right tackles in the NFL, a lot of these players, they tend to lunge too quickly, and these defensive ends find ways to counter it. But when you're 6'6", 335 pounds, and you have a wide base, it's hard to be able to get from around that. And I'm not saying that he is one of the most dominant run blockers in the NFL. I believe that he's a better pass protector than he is a run blocker, but you will see on film that he has the ability to make some noise. And when you have players like Aaron Jones, all it takes is half a second for this guy to be able to slice through the defense and make a big play. And with Minnesota's offensive line, they play that physical style of football, players that can go out there and set the tone early on. So this physicality is needed for Minnesota's offense. And here's another quick clip of him being patient and striking at the right time. I love to see the physicality when it comes down to these players, Skull Nation. If this offense is going to take that next step, they need everybody on the offensive line doing their job. If you can be an offensive line that can be able to buy more time for guys like Sam Darnold, he could definitely get things rolling. But it can take time. It's not always about the athletes. They got to go out there and build that chemistry. But you can tell by the athleticism and the physicality that this is one of the athletes that got it in them. So it's up to the Vikings coaching staff to get things going. When scouts evaluate left tackles in the NFL, they focus on footwork, toughness, and length. Cam Robinson stands out as a player with exceptionally long arms, which he uses to his advantage. You'll often see defenders trying to extend their arms against him in an attempt to make savvy moves and close in on the ball carrier. But Robinson's arms are so long that it's extremely difficult for opponents to break free from his grip. So we'll go ahead and run it. So running this play here, you see that he's locking in on the defender, and he strikes him with his hands. And to be one of the better scouts in the NFL, you got to find players that have long arms. You see that defender, he's trying to extend his arms but Cam Robinson was able to match him. And this is a thing of beauty because sometimes it can frustrate these defensive ends, making it hard for those guys to be able to make a play. But these are the things that you see when it comes down to the JC film session. So Skull Nation, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We will be breaking down more Minnesota Vikings film, drafted players, undrafted players, anything that y'all want to see. Y'all make sure y'all let me know and I got you. But seeing Cam Robinson and the way that he can be able to utilize his arms, fighting with these defensive ends all the way to the whistle, it was a dominating rep by Robinson. Here's a rep where Cam Robinson gave up a sack to Myles Garrett. It's surprising because I looked through the first 6 games and the first 4 games was extremely clean until I got to the Browns. Literally, 98% of the plays I saw, he dominated, but he did give up a few when I watched him in the last couple of games. On these plays, the defender used their rip technique to close in on a quarterback. Robinson is a battle-tested tackle. While it won't be perfect every snap, this is definitely something me and you need to keep an eye on. So we'll go ahead and run it. So keying in on this play here, you know Myles Garrett, he's a tough player to deal with. They get off the ball and he dips it low. And Myles Garrett understands that all it takes is one quick move to be able to get the offensive tackle where he wants him, and he uses a quick rip. And with a guy like Myles Garrett, he is extremely powerful. So you got to get your hands on this player and play with good technique. So he got his hands on Trevor Lawrence. There's the ball right there on the ground, but it's good that the running back picked it up. But with Cam Robinson lining up against a lot of these defensive ends, he will see a lot of players in the NFC, but being a player that was going up against TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Will Anderson, a lot of these players he has lined up against, he has done well, but is not perfect. There will be a few bad plays, but he will have a lot of good plays to come with it because the film never lies, Skull Nation. And with the better offensive tackles in the league, you got to have that short-term memory. When you get beat, how quickly can you recover? And with guys like Cam Robinson, he has the mental to be able to recover and move on to the next play. But we wanted to come in here and not just show you guys the good plays. We got to show y'all the bad plays as well so we can have an understanding of what this player can be able to do and what he needs to work on. Being a player who can use athleticism and physicality against the opposition is crucial. Having teammates like Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, and Jordan Addison makes the job much easier. As a player traded to this team, they're counting on this player to make an immediate impact. It is go time, Skull Nation. this final play here, we see impressive movement skills from Robinson. The Vikings offense often requires linemen to be mobile, leading the way and attacking the perimeter. And for defenders, it's intimidating to see such a large defender coming at you in space. And this mobility will only enhance Aaron Jones' effectiveness once he gets going. So we'll go ahead and run it. So running this play here, you see that he's pulling to the left. And with this guy being 6'6, 335 pounds, it's like a freight train that's coming at you. You got to have that physicality to be able to get your hands on these defenders. Usually, you want to get your hands inside these players. Watching that right arm right there because you don't want to get holding calls from these refs. But I've seen a lot of times where he was able to get those vice grips on these players and control them all the way to the whistle. But this is a situation where the Minnesota Vikings going out there and picking up Cam Robinson. These are the things that the top teams in the NFL does, like the Kansas City Chiefs. They go out there and get better. And this is exactly what the Minnesota Vikings did in acquiring this player. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out with Cam Robinson. But being a player that has the athleticism, you're very physical. You've been one of the top players for Jacksonville for years, on top of being a player that's battle tested. This was definitely an offer that the Minnesota Vikings couldn't refuse because when you have a good record like the Vikings, you have to keep this thing rolling. They have the looks of being a solid playoff team this year, and bringing in Cam Robinson, it just keeps this whole offense flowing. And we definitely want to wish guys like Christian Darrisaw a speedy recovery. He's one of their better players on that offensive line. But with Cam Robinson's skill set, especially being able to pass protect, it's going to be exciting to see how it all shakes out for the rest of the season. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Cam Robinson and if this move is the final piece to get them to where they want to go. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss out on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. Talk to y'all soon.